Hey, it's Ayon here from the game CodeLaamaa. In our last lesson, we learned about grouping variables together into lists. I mentioned that printing out lists would be done efficiently by using another piece of code. That piece of code is known as a loop. Loops and lists go hand in hand. Loops allow us to repeat actions. They repeat until a certain condition is reached, usually with an initial condition. There are three types of loops: counting loops, repeating loops, and listing loops. Starting with counting loops, which are the most common ones used, they contain three parts. The counting loop contains an initial condition, such as I equals 0, a reason to keep the loop going, such as I is less than 10, and an increment after each loop, such as I plus 1 or I plus 2. You can loop with your counter going from small to big, or big to small. You can loop with lists. While counting loops use a numerical counter, repeating loops do not need one. They are good for when you don't know when to end your loop. So if we look back at the counting loop, you have to have an idea of how many items you want to loop through, or how many times you want to loop through. But with repeating loops, you don't need to know when you want to end. You can have a condition inside the loop that will end for you. Repeat loops will repeat until an end condition is met, which can be either true or false. There are three types of repeating loops: repeat, repeat while, and repeat until. The repeat loop will repeat X number of times, so you kind of have to have an idea of how many times you want to repeat. But the repeat while will repeat while a condition is true. And the repeat until will repeat until a condition is false. Be careful not to create an infinite loop with this type of loop, because you can easily do so. Our final loop is the loop in a list loop. This loop is really convenient because a lot of times you want to loop through a list. It's also known as a for each loop in other languages. Finally, if you wish to use an infinite loop on purpose, use the break block to break out of the loop at any time. Usually you put the break block inside an if statement or an if block, so that you check to see if a condition has been met, then you break out. Now let's look at our mission level to see how things are done. Alright, so here's our mission level. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the loops category and grab a simple count block here. It says count with I from 1 to 10. And if you look at the by portion, you see that it's going to increment by 1, so 1 at a time. We're going to change that 1 down to 3 just to keep things simple. And what we'll do is we'll pull out a print block. We won't get rid of the ABC, we'll move it to the side, because what we're going to do is go into text and grab the little create text with block and combine it with ABC, but we're going to change ABC to the word hello. We're going to throw hello in the first connection there. And since we have the I counter, we can just go straight to variables and grab I. And so now we're just going to count 3 times and print out the word hello with our count number 3 times, or each time. So let's hit run. There's hello 1, hello 2, and hello 3. Alright, so it's our first simple loop right there. Now let's throw that in the trash. Grab a repeat while loop. Now this time we're going to try something similar to what we just did a moment ago, but with the repeat while loop. We're going to have to manually create our variable called I. So we'll create a variable there, set I to, we'll grab the number block which says 0 and change that to 1. Now we'll go into logic and grab the comparison there, and we'll change it to less than equal to. Grab a number block, change that 0 to be 3 because we want to loop 3 times. And grab our variable block which has I inside of it. Now let's grab our math block, and the thing with the variable block is the repeat block is that you gotta be very careful when you're doing something like this, because you have to increment your counter manually. So we're using the set I to I plus 1 and throwing that in there, and it's good to do that first to get it out of the way, even though it'll be the last line of code in our block in this case. Otherwise you'll end up with a repeating loop, an infinite loop, that you'll have to kill the game and start all over again with. Anyways, getting back to it, we're going to do another print hello and get our create text with again, and move the word hello to the first connection, and go into our variables and grab I and put it there, and we're going to put the print block above this set I block that we just created. And let's add in a little move. So we'll grab the punch block, throw that in there. So now we're doing basically our counting block, but we're doing it manually in pieces here. So it's the same idea as the counting block, but a little more dangerous. Because if we don't do that last line of code, I set I to I plus 1, this will just repeat infinitely, and you'll have to kill the game and start again. So there's hello 1 with a punch. Now we have hello 2, and there's our punch. Finally, there's hello 3 with our punch. Alright, so far we've looked at counting blocks, counting loops, repeat while loops. Now we're going to take an even more, and I'll call it dangerous loop as well. We're going to do an infinite loop in a moment. So let's throw all that in the trash. Go into our loops category. I'm going to grab a repeat while. Go into our... Now we need the true block. So the true block is inside the if category. So we'll grab that. So now this is an infinite loop. It will not end. And we'll have to do a special block of code to get out of it. Let's just pull in a print block. Just say the word hello. And since we're at it, let's add a move. There's our kick block. Let's make it flying kick. Now, here's the important thing. We have to have a way to get out of this infinite loop. So we're going to ask you, the user, to type in quit to exit. So let's create a variable called continue. And we'll go into our prompt block. And we'll say that the message will be enter quit to exit. There we go. Let's connect that up. Now let's put that inside our repeat block. Now let's go and grab our if block. We're going to say if continue is equal to quit. So there's our equal block. Now we're going to grab a text block and populate the text block with the word quit. And grab the continue variable. Now if we go into loops, the last block there is called break out of the loop. That's what will allow us to exit the loop, and has to go only inside of an if block. That's what that blue exclamation mark was for. So now if we type in the word quit, we can break out of this loop and actually exit the program. So let's give this a run. So it's going to print the word hello and do a flying kick. We'll type in some nonsense like DDD to hit continue. It'll do hello again, jump, and then we'll type in some more nonsense. It did its second flying kick. We'll run this just one more time. So there's our third hello, our flying kick. We'll type in quit this time. Hit done, hit OK, and now there you have it. It has exited the loop, and therefore the program. So there you have it. Here's our little demo on loop. Now if you haven't done so already, head over to CodeLaamaa.com and download CodeLaamaa for your iPad or Android and give it a try yourself. You won't regret it. It's a game that takes place on Earth 5 and is in a not so distant future, where humans have abandoned the Earth because it has become unlivable, and it's up to the animal kingdom to restore it. It can be only restored through the power of code, so you need to learn to code to save it. I know you're up for the challenge, so what are you waiting for? Take care. Bye for now.